I've missed you. It's been a while since we sat down to have a proper crafty chat. So what should we talk about? I think the video before this one, we were talking about all the stuff I bought in Japan, and then before that we were doing a Japan mini, very mini tour. And then the one before that was the last time that we sat down to have a crafty chat. And that one was a May craft vlog of all the things that I wanted to make to take to Japan. So what do we have for today? Let's see, should we talk crochet, knitting, and some books? So come in, grab your project, grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's settle in for a proper crafty chat. First up, I did mention we have finished items, and let me tell you, this video is gonna be full of finished items. I have 3 garments, and I have some odds and ends that I'm also very happy to have finished and be sharing them with you. So first up, we have what I'm wearing. I know, you can't really see what I'm wearing, and it's because of the way my camera is set up, so I will put an overhead picture here. But this is the project that was accompanying us to Japan, and I'll put the name of it right on the screen. I absolutely love working on this project. Okay, this was a mermaid cat designs. As I said, it is not entirely size inclusive, but it is sized up to a size 52-inch bust. And I honestly feel that if you want a very easy fix for grading for a bigger size, then you could go up to a sport weight yarn and probably a 4mm hook, and you would gain some width without having to do any math or resizing or anything like that. And I sort of confidently mention that because for this project I did not use the recommended yarn, and I did that on purpose. I wanted a drapier, more t-shirt like fabric, and that is indeed what I got with this Yonky Monkey. So you will see that the top that I am wearing is the same as the one that's in the mannequin behind me that the camera keeps confusing with my face. No, it is the same yarn. So first I made that one back there, and then I had 200 grams left over, and I decided that's enough to make this one right here. But actually, I only used 155 grams of yarn to make my version of this sweater, because I decided to omit the ribbing, go for a sort of cropped torso. I actually ended up adding length, and I'm not sure it would have been needed because my plan for this is to wear it with very high waist skirts, pants, and the like. So I honestly don't think I needed to make it longer, but I will put the finished measurements of this top right on the screen. And I'm also going to be writing a blog post to accompany all the changes that I made for the sweater, because changing the yarn already was a huge thing, because I'm already using a cotton bamboo yarn. It's a lot drapier than the comfy fingering that was used for the original pattern. I made a size 2, and it's very roomy, and I'm very happy with that because this was meant to be a summer garment, and I am thrilled with how it came out. Other differences that are super noticeable, I did not do sleeves because, as I said, summer garment. But if you want any more details on this, then I will include a blog post link in the description box below, and you can read all about the changes and the measurements for this sweater. If you would like to imitate what I have done, I will also include a link for the yarn that I have used. It'll be an affiliate Amazon link, so that means that I get a little bit of income at no extra charge to you. And do I highly recommend this yarn? Yes, I do. It's perfect for summer. However, I will say it does pill a little bit, especially because it's rubbing against like jeans or backpacks or skirts. You will see some pilling. The other finished item that I don't think I shared with you previously is my lazy polka dot top. My lazy polka dot top is a reimagining of the vintage Echo cardigan, and I absolutely love it. It's in the final tester phase. The test ends on the 17th of July, so I'm hoping to release it the week after that. a Wednesday. And you will be able to find all the information about the lazy polka dot top in my blog as well, but that is more for July when the pattern does actually release. In the meantime, I can tell you that I crocheted size 3 of this top because I wanted it to be very baggy and oversized. You will have short rows in this top, you will have seaming, and that's it. There's no increases or decreases, just short rows, seaming, and of course you're combining 2 different stitches to create this top. So on the left hand panel we have the polka dots, and on the right hand panel we have what I call the lazy daisy stitch, hence the name lazy polka dot top. And the short rows are at the shoulder neckline area so that it just lays flatter on the slope of your shoulder. Now, my mannequin is also wearing a finished item that was still a work in progress, I think, when I finished Japan craft vlog. And that is the Beachy Breezy Cardi. It is a design by my lovely friend Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy, whom I got to spend some beautiful, lovely time with this past weekend, because at the time of filming this little June craft wrap-up, it is oh my god, what day is it today? Like the 25th of June? Yeah, and this is going up in July, so I know, timey wibbly wobbly, but I have to film it now because I wanted to have it done by the time that I was in Puerto Rico, because I am going back to Puerto Rico for Mom's last chemo treatment, just to help out a little bit for 2 weeks, and then we shall be back. But don't worry, I am leaving very lovely content to keep you company so that you can keep on crafting if you choose to do so in the summer. If you just want to hang out with a friend while you're sipping a cocktail, hello, I'll hang out with you. And that's why I'm leaving all these videos up for you guys so that we can have a wonderful summer staycation. Because guys, the heat is real outside, and I'm a delicate little flower, okay? Right, so what was I saying about, the Beachy Breezy Cardi? I wore it almost every day for the entire 2 weeks that we were in Japan. I paired it with different outfits, and I loved the look with all the outfits. Like, this is truly a beautiful, versatile cardigan. And even better because I chose to make it in such a neutral color. So the color is the Coquito colorway by the Little Wolf Knits. It is one of those dyed to order colorways, but I absolutely recommend this colorway. It is in her Suri alpaca blend, which, by the way, I am, as I said in that craft vlog, 100% now understand why people go for Suri alpaca. I am a Suri alpaca girly, and I never thought I would say that because it looked intimidating. That fluff looked intimidating, but it's so beautiful against the skin. And I actually have enough left over that I can do the short rows that I plan to do in the back of the neck, because my gauge for the back panel was much tighter than my gauge for the 2 front panels. So I actually needed to do more rows in the back to get the same stretch that I got in the front. Hey ho, we live and we learn, but at least we have short rows and they can solve that problem for us. So all of these 3 patterns I recommend. Mine because I think it's beautiful and drapey and it just represents everything lovely about summer fabrics. Chelsea's because the same, it is beautiful, it is drapey. I made it with 3/4 sleeves and it was still nice and warm on that plane ride. And then this sweater by Mermaid Cat Designs, I just love the stitch combination, okay? I do, and I love how it looks with this fabric. And like I said, I also recommend the Yonky Monkey. Have I washed it in like the machine yet? No, but I did very gently steam it because I know that bamboo is gonna grow a lot. Okay, so oh, I have one more finished item to share with you, and that one is very whimsical and it makes me just as happy as the 3 finished garments that I just shared with you. And if you're just looking for a little project to use up some stash, like a little bit of stash, and you're also bored with how your hangers look, then I totally recommend this. So I don't know if I've mentioned before, but I follow or I'm subscribed to Ame Life YouTube channel here on YouTube because it's a YouTube channel, and I love that, you know, she's just vlogging about her life. But anyway, she shared these hanger covers, and I guess a lot of people asked about them because then she did a tutorial for it. So this specific hanger cover uses the tulip stitch. It also uses a single crochet stitches, and then we have some shells to complete it. And the reason it looks this wavy is because of the type of hanger that we've covered. Now, interestingly enough, in this hanger cover, she doesn't seam it shut. It's actually literally a cover that you can just fold back, wash, or you know, repurpose if you want to do that. The hanger underneath it is called a coat hanger, and it doesn't have any of the indentations for the crochet to catch on. This hanger, I did see it on Amazon, but it is $20 for 10 hangers. So this one specifically came from Japan. I bought it at Daiso, where it was 100 yen, which is the equivalent right now of 64 US cents for 2. And I only bought 2. Why? I don't know, okay? I'm still kicking myself over that. I wanted to get 10, but I was like, oh, it's not gonna fit in my suitcase. It would have totally fit. Okay. Anyway, so this whimsical project is, it's just, I look at it and I smile. It makes me so happy. And I'm gonna try actually and get those wire hangers, and I'm gonna try and bend it in a way that it mimics the crochet coat hanger so I can cover it as well, because why not add whimsy to our closets? Not only in the garments that we make, but also in the way we hang those garments. Does that make sense? So those are the finished items. I think we need to take a little water break and come back. Okay, I hope you're very well hydrated. You went to the bathroom, you did everything you had to do, okay? So now that we've covered finished items, let's do works in progress. Now I actually don't have that many works in progress right now, and I'm astonished. You know, in the Japan craft shopping video that we did, I had 2 projects on the go, and that is still what I have right now at this moment. Let's start with the first one. I'm going to hold it up, but I'm also going to put some overhead imagery. This is the Malibu Barbie Bralette by, again, my friend Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy, and it is my entry into the summer romance crochet along, which we should really probably call the summer romance make along, because all crafts are welcome as long as they are fiber related, and you can use them in a way to represent your chosen couple for this year, which, by the way, if you are new, this year's theme for the summer romance make-along or crochet along is enemies to lovers. This is not a trope that I tend to go for, and I already discussed previously why. I'll link the live that I did with Claudia of Crochet Luna if you want like an intro to that. But I am choosing to represent with this beautiful granny stitch bralette Abby and Evos, and they are a couple that are more like rivals to lovers, but I'm bending the rules a little bit. And it is part of the Accidental Bride series. Now, I never actually remember the title of the book itself, but it is part of the Accidental Bride series, and I believe there is Beast in the title. So like a little bit like Grumpy and the Beast, because she's a little grumpy, he's a little beastly. Yeah, we'll go with that. Please mind the trigger warnings for the book. If you are going to be reading it, you can check those out in the Amazon description page, which I am linking in the description box below. Back to my project because it's beautiful. So I chose to represent Evos and Abby, or Abby and Evos, however it sounds better. And they spend about I would say 2 weeks alone in the jungle. So I thought this green from Space Coast, I actually have the yarn ball label, from Space Coast Yarn Company. I thought it was just so beautiful. It really looks like a jungle with all the different variations of green in here. So I bought this yarn for Chelsea's birthday. Like, I was hanging out with her. It was her birthday when I bought it. And I knew I wanted to make the Malibu Barbie Bralette ever since I bought this yarn. So perfect. We finished the front panel. I have actually started the back panel. This is what I have of the back panel. You can see it's significantly smaller because my front panel came out too big. So I just thought I'll make the back panel smaller and I'll still have the 34 inches of bust around that I wanted for my bralette. And luckily this yarn has 437 yards in 100 grams of organic cotton. So it's beautiful, it's very easy to work with. I am using the 3.5mm hook recommended. I just didn't do a gauge swatch. I know, I can hear you saying, but Clarissa, you're a designer and you did not do a gauge swatch. I live on the edge of anxiety. It's just things I do for myself, okay? But I'm very happy with how it's turning out and I'm excited to finish it. I don't know if I'll have it finished before going to Puerto Rico, but I for sure will take it with me and finish it in Puerto Rico, which is exciting because then that means I can do finished object photos in like the tame jungle that is my house back home. So that is whip number 1. And whip number 2 is a work whip. This is the second time, not the second time, but I am testing the lazy polka dot top again, and this time I'm testing it in a different size. So I went for a size 2. Remember, we all voted on this and we had been voting if whether or not I should do it in wool or in the same Yonky Monkey yarn, and I went for the same Yonky Monkey yarn. This is in the color Cowboy Blue, and I've already finished the lazy polka dot panel, and I am now doing the Lazy Daisy stitch panel, almost finished with that one as well. So it'll just be time to do short rows on this panel. And then after doing those short rows, it'll be time to start the back panel and then we can get to seaming and doing all the finishing touches. This one will definitely go with me to Puerto Rico as well because it needs to get done by the time I finish the test. What else can I tell you? Oh, for this version of the lazy polka dot top, I actually omitted about 2 or 3 rows from each panel because I wanted it even more cropped than the one back there. The one back here actually didn't come out too cropped. So from the collarbone down, it measures 17 inches, but from when you measure from the height of the shoulder down, it measures 19 inches. No, 18.25, not 19, 18. But I wanted it even more cropped, so we'll see how that one turns out. I am excited. I just love the way this yarn works up and the texture. It's beautiful. And of course, all these changes for the pattern that I am testing for myself, I will include in a note section right at the end of the pattern. I'm very excited because I have testers that finished already and are sending me pictures of the finished test that I will also include in the finished pattern, the PDF one, when it comes out. So those are actually my only 2 works in progress, and that is sad. I know, but I'm hoping that the Japan shopping video is going to go out this Saturday, so I'm hoping enough of you vote on that to see what my next project should be so I can take those materials with me to Puerto Rico. I'm only going to be there 2 weeks, so maybe I shouldn't really, but we all know that as crafters we tend to pack yarn way more than clothes. Oh, but also there will be a new cast on for my hook. A new cast on for my hook because Mom would like me to make her this sweater pattern as well in a yarn that she already has for me at home. So I'm just literally going to take the hook and my tools, just because the hook that I use, I know what my gauge is going to be with that one, and you know gauge, it changes if you change your hook. So I want her to have the drapiest, most comfortable pattern possible, so I will attempt to make and finish that make in 2 weeks. Will I be able to do it? I know, but maybe it'll be fun to vlog about. Can I finish a sweater in 2 weeks? I mean, technically, realistically, you probably could, because this front panel, you guys know, it took me about 12 hours because I worked on it almost nonstop on the flight to Japan, and that was the flight from Montreal to Narita Airport in Tokyo. So all in all, not too bad. So that is it for the yarny talk, and if that is all that you were interested in, then thank you for stopping by. Thank you for spending a little bit of crafty time with me, and I will see you later. If, however, you're here for books as well, then I would just like to say that always in my newsletter I do include the books that I am reading, and sometimes I do a little review blurb, but most of the times I just talk about my thoughts and feelings on the books that I am reading. So if that does interest you, then I will leave a link to my newsletter in the description box, and you can subscribe there to the newsletter. It goes out every Sunday, unless I'm on vacation. Then we don't get one until I come back from vacation. And I have to say, I do like my newsletter, but if you are subscribed to my newsletter already, then tell me what you think. Do you like the topics that we're discussing in the newsletter? Because this is for you as well as for me, so we gotta make it a community thing, guys, okay? Oh, and speaking of community, I always forget to mention, you're welcome to join the Crochet Cakes and Tea Discord server. It will be linked in the description box below. All you have to do to join is click that link. And then the first thing you're going to see is like tabs that open up on Discord here, the channels on this side. You're going to click the one that says rules, okay? And you're going to read the rules, and you are going to acknowledge them with the green heart emoji. All this is explained in the rules, but I just want you to have a little heads up if you've never used Discord before, because I know it's a learning curve. I'm still learning, but I have to say I just love having a place where we can share pictures and whatever things catch our fancy. And if you like reading, if you like crafting, we do have channels for those as well, where you can put the books that you're reading, the projects that you're doing, all that nice, juicy stuff, okay? The meat and potatoes of the craft world. All right, let's get into some books. So I've been trying to keep, should we call it a book journal? I guess we should. We should call it a book journal. And it's just like at the beginning of the month, I write the month's title, and then I write down the books that I'm reading as I'm reading them. And then I write a little blurb about them. It could be quotes that I liked. It can be my thoughts on certain things in the books, things like that. So first up, I of course already finished reading The Accidental Bride, the Evos and Abby story, because I was working on this bralette. I finished reading it, and that one, as I said, heed the content warnings that I do talk about in the live for the summer romance crochet along. But I do find this story, it is a nice fluffy story, and I like how there is a little bit of character growth from a little bit of exploration of how when you find yourself in traumatic situations, sometimes you change, and not for the best. Not because someone tells you like you have changed for the worse, but also because you realize that and you start to actively work to become a person that you're going to be happy with. And I appreciate that exploration, okay? I do. Also, there is a cute bunny called Flopsy, and there's gardening. It really just feels like a cozy-ish book if you ignore the fact that she has to kill giant spiders at some point, just once, okay? But you can skip that. It doesn't really add or detract from the plot, I think. Of course, after finishing Evos and Abby, I tried to force myself to read another Enemies to Lovers, but I just wasn't feeling it. So instead, I let Kindle choose what I should read for me, because, you know, if you're subscribed to Kindle Unlimited, sometimes you get based on your reading you would like. And Your Coffin or Mine, like that name, and I'm like, what is this about? And it's like, oh, modern day influencer romance with Dracula, like the Dracula. And I'm like, you know what, this sounds really hilarious, and I'm gonna read it. And it was very enjoyable. It's very, very low stakes, and I appreciate that, because it could have been super gory, high stakes, kind of like a thriller, and it wasn't. It was just very low stakes, fluffy. And I greatly appreciate that. I do feel that Vlad Tepes is a bit of an right at the very beginning, but it's not that it's explained away, but it's like you got to analyze the circumstances that when they do first meet, he hasn't fed in 100 years. So he's like super temperamental and he doesn't really want change. And you know, it's just, it's cute. Are there any warnings for this one? Well, there's a little bit of blood drinking, of course. Talks about being immortal and loved ones dying, things like that. Cheating, not between the main couple. Those are the ones that I can think of right off the top of my head. There's no torture, there's no goriness, it's really just humor. And the only thing I didn't really like is, so it kind of starts with a plane and a part of it is on fire. So if you fear flying, that's a trigger. But it wasn't believable, okay? You're just reading this and you're like, this would never be allowed to happen, honestly. Or at least you hope it would never be allowed to happen. So that part didn't really seem realistic at all. And then there are some kind of metaphors in the kinky parts that also are like, no, that doesn't work. But other than that, it did what I wanted it to do. It was just a fluffy, humor, just ridiculous story. And I appreciated that. And I'm saying ridiculous because of the fact that you have an influencer and then you have Dracula trying to learn about the internet, things like that, okay? So that's why I mean a little like ridiculous situations. And I enjoyed it. So if you're looking for like a fluffy humor fluff, then your Coffin or mine, very nice. I think those are the only two that I've read. No, I also started listening to one that I rented from my library that I think it was just one of those things that pop up as available to listen now. And it was Think Your Way to Riches, Think Your Way to Millionaire, Think Your Way to Money, something like that. This book is it just reads so dated, and not in like Jane Austen dated, where you can still relate to the personal experiences the characters are going through and you kind of find a little bit of romance in the way people express themselves. No, it is dated in the sense of the examples that he uses, the language that he uses to talk about enslaved people or people of color, and I don't appreciate that. So I'm stuck between wanting to listen to it just to learn what this book is about, because it's more about shifting your mentality than like you're going to be automatically rich if you do these things. You know what I mean? There is a shift of mentality that has to occur in order for you to visualize things in your life and actually work towards fulfilling those dreams instead of just leaving them as dreams. Editing Clarissa here. I did a bit of a light research, and Napoleon Hill may have been a scammer. So, you know, read this book at your own risk. I still find some of the ideas interesting, mostly because I've read them elsewhere from reputable doctors and psychologists. So the first thing that he mentions is like there has to be a desire for something, and that really aligns with what I read in The 5 Resets from Dr. Nerukar. I think it's Nerukar. So that one was kind of common in the one because she talks about finding your most goal, and that is like this thing that you want above all others, and like writing lists to work towards that in a way that is going to make the experience not less stressful, but help you manage the stress that change is going to create. So those two thoughts so far align, and I kind of want to get to his second point to see how it compares to things that I've already read about shifting your mindset. So those are the books that I am currently reading. One of them very serious. Another two, just fluff. I'm now on the lookout for fluff. I'm just gonna let Kindle recommend another book for me and see what I feel about that. And as I said, you can always keep up to date with what I'm reading in my newsletter. One thing I will say that I'm very excited about is that towards the end of July, there's a new romance book coming out titled Ne'er-Do-Well, I believe. I put the title here and everything else here, all the information. It's still in pre-order now because it's a month away. But I pre-ordered that book and I am very excited to read it. That will be the second book that I have bought, which is not from Kindle lately, and that's something to look forward to. Okay, so those are the facts that we're dealing with, the books that we're reading, and the projects that we're working on. Thank you so much for joining me today for this crafty chat. I will see you in my next video, which should be a review, actually, on something that I've already finished. So I should have showed it, but I'm leaving that for this video specifically, and it's going to be a review about a crochet kit. So if that is something that you're interested in, then tune in next Saturday for that. And the Saturday after that one, we're going to be working on a tutorial. Now, I know someone asked for a single crochet V-stitch decrease tutorial, and I will work on that probably in August. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in my next video. As always, you can keep in touch with me through the comments section here on YouTube. You can private message me on Instagram or Ravelry, or you can go to the contact me page on my blog and just email, because we need things to look forward to, right? And I think chatting with you and finding people to connect with, those are very, very important things. Oh, and of course, Discord, best way to live contact, I guess. Anyway, I'm gonna stop chatting. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you in my next video. Bye!